Welcome to Hanging with Gary.
Press the record, Johnny.
It's on there.
Let's do this, bogus.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. You're listening to Hanging with Gary. This is season number 3. And, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Gary Ha.
Give it up! Give it up, Johnny! Give it up! Keep it going, Johnny. I haven't heard that in a long time. Keep it up! Welcome to Hanging with Gary, Season 3, Episode 1. Gary Hobbs, yours truly. Johnny D, Little D, and our special guest who we're going to introduce in a moment.
Ooh.
Good to be back, Johnny.
Oh, yes. Good to. I missed it.
I always ask you, how was your weekend? How was the last 3 months, John?
Híjole. COVID? No, no te creas. No, actually, COVID-free. So it was pretty good, yeah.
I'm fatigued. I didn't even want to do this podcast tonight, to be honest.
Really?
No, I'm just joking. So many friends out there, Tejano Music family friends that follow us on the podcast. It is great to have you back, listening in on Season 3. Today we are going to start with our Todays Tejano. What's up, Little D? Before I start, what's the name of your podcast?
Say something.
Thin Blue Smoke, the podcast. Thin Blue Smoke, the podcast. Thin Blue Smoke.
Thin Blue Smoke, the
Thin
podcast.
Blue Smoke,
The podcast.
the podcast
Yeah.
with Little D,
Yeah.
David. You know? Puro love, Little D. Little D wants to know when he comes up to be Big D on our podcast.
Al rato.
And we're waiting for equipment or what? Or we're waiting for sponsorship.
Yeah.
We were waiting to lose some weight, but that ain't happening. We're not.
It definitely didn't happen with me.
I went on vacation. I took a cruise. I came back whiter and fatter. And I was supposed to get a tan. True story. I went to the Bahamas, gracias a Dios. Big shout out to Sammy and Happy Mireles. We celebrated their 9th wedding anniversary with them. And dear friends, Jaime Almendares, Sarah Maris, and yours truly, Gary Indiana Hobbs. And we had a great time. We went to the Bahamas, Key West, Freeport, Half Moon Cay, and Nassau. And we saw, well, we didn't see it, but there was a shark sighting like 20 feet behind Diana and I. I never saw it. They said it was like 5 feet long. But that's just 4 feet too long for me. But the true story, but we never saw it. But closest thing I'll ever come to a shark. But
It was amongst the mist.
yes, but so we got back from the Bahamas and I came back whiter and fatter, ladies and gentlemen. And now they always say you need a vacation from the vacation. It's true. It's true. I told my wife Diana, go Reina, I am more tired this time than all the other 4 cruises that we put on. I mean, we have meetings, we have 3 dances, 3 dances, 70s night, we have a meet and greet, we have a pool party, we have a nightclub night, we have like 7-8 events. And so it's meetings, so we get down sometimes to the beach. This time we got down at every beach at the Bahamas. Beautiful stuff, beautiful. But being más cansado, I am like still trying to get my wind back. But I recommend it. The Bahamas was great. But we're back, hanging with Gary. Today, we're going to start with Today's Tejano segment. We bring new music always, right, John? Anything inside of a year and a half. We took into consideration COVID, right? So
Yes.
But today I'm so pleased, and we are pleased that we have a special guest. It's the first time that we have a guest on our podcasts. Woo!
Oh, yes.
We have the very talented, lovely Cari Karina from Eagle Pass, Texas. Cari, how are you, Cari?
Hello, saludos. What an honor. Qué honor.
No,
And then especially
our pleasure.
you all saying that it's the first guest. I did have that in the back of my mind. I think I'm the first guest. I think I'm the first.
No, you are.
No, fíjate. Qué bonito. Muchas gracias. Qué honor.
You are more than welcome. And when we started the podcast and we told them we were going to go to YouTube and stuff, we haven't done it because of the cameras and stuff like that. I really wanted to lose weight. I haven't lost weight, but and so when our audience kept saying, "Oh, are you going to have guests?" And I think originally we didn't want to bring in guests because then I think the next step would be, why didn't they sing? Why didn't they play? But we are very pleased. For our audience, Cari Karina is a new artist. I want to say new because she's been charting the charts, and we are so proud of you.
Thank
yes,
you.
yes.
Gracias.
That and more some is deserving. And Cari happens to be first cousins with the late Carlos Castillon, Charlie Castillon, who performed with us and was really instrumental in writing a lot of our first material that we got out there, original stuff. Of course, por favor, corazón, corazón ardiente, mírame a mí, poco a poco. The list goes on and on. And so, and Cari's older brother, Joe Castillon. Well, Joe Castillon is also tagged with us because Joe and Charlie came to us. It has to be like 1990, 1991. And I smile and I laugh because they were full of, they were animated. They were wanting to perform and play and so they learned our music and it took two of them to play our keyboard parts. I mean, here are two youngsters, basically teenagers, trying to learn what Brando Mireles and what Hector Gutierrez did, right? And so, but it's so funny because I heard Charlie play for the first time, and then he told me something like, "Pues I'm not really a keyboard player. I'm really a sax player." And I go, "Well, let me hear you play the sax." And I told him, "No, I think you're a keyboard player." but Joe and Charlie, of course, came when they were just teenagers here, and that's how I met both of them, right? Mm-hmm. And of course, Joe is your older brother, and there's so much history there. But first, I want to just let you say hello to our audience, Cari, and welcome to Hanging with Gary.
Yes, hello everybody. So I'm Cari Karina, de aquí también, de Eagle Pass, Texas, hometown. Born and raised. Was maybe left my hometown for a very light, few years. But, my hometown just brings me back. Proud to be here. My family's here. As you're mentioning, my brother plays a big role in my years in this industry. That's right. Gracias a esos y el apoyo de la familia y amistades también aquí.
There you go.
Que also plays a big role right here, Johnny D. Along
La Familia Castillon, very talented here in Eagle Pass, and I want to tell our listeners that the first time that I knew of you was you were just a little girl.
Sí.
I'm giving away my age, right? And so I actually didn't get to see you perform till y'all started Jappy.
Yes.
A group named Jappy, Japy. And Charlie was playing keyboards and touch bass at the same time. Mm-hmm. First time I heard him do that, I go, man, like, why don't you do that with us? No, but of course, your brother Joe is there with Jappy, mm-hmm. And so was Charlie, of course. But then there was I remember Ernie Cervera.
Yes,
Ernie Cervera was there, and Ruben Pacheco was there too. The Neck, really.
The very beginning.
Ruben Pacheco.
I was
Wow.
there at the very beginning too.
And you were there too.
At the
Well, see, I don't
beginning.
remember that, John. But with Jappy.
I'm the first one they fired.
Oh. Again. Well, but I remember y'all taking it by storm, really, locally.
Sí.
And y'all had a great following. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I don't think they had seen that since we were here, like 83, 1982, 83. We come in on a Thursday night anywhere, and we were pulling 250 people. It was
Yeah.
Willie's Bar and Garden back there, and then there was Babies and stuff. But when y'all came on the scene, y'all really took it, and I was very proud because I felt associated with Charlie and with Joe, and then that's when I met you, and I had heard y'all sing a wide variety of music, and I always kept it in the back of my I guess my thinking that man, they're so talented, but why don't they do Tejano, right?
Sí.
Right, because of your brother and because of Charlie, and then Charlie writing, he had already written some BMI award songs, but Jappy did very, very well. Maybe you can touch just a little bit on those couple of years
Yes.
with Jappy.
Well, mentioning that why wouldn't we do Tejano? Actually, the first group that we initiated right from the beginning was an all Tejano band. So era Grupo Promesa, and then it became Jappy, ¿verdad? Pero and as we were doing Jappy and we were having that following and that success, right, that our hometown and the areas around were really accepting and just embracing us really well.
That feels great, right?
Oh, if it's
Yeah.
a wonderful feeling, ¿verdad? And
I wouldn't
I
know.
feel very blessed. Very blessed. Pero at the same time, we were in the studio working with some of Charlie's, material and in a style of Tejano, pero maybe, trying to get all these other influences involved or I guess mixed in there is what I'm trying to say. Pero pues ahí es cuando terminó, ¿verdad? It was an unfinished project.
Well, there was a
that-
lot of talent there that could have directed even. Charlie himself, your brother Joe, Ernie Cervera, who he wrote a lot of our songs too, and so and I've seen Ernie produce some stuff. So there was definitely a lot of talent there that y'all easily could have gone Tejano back then. From Jappy, I guess. At the turn of the century, before Jappy, music started to evolve and change so much. They were going a lot to more of a cumbia, what they were starting to call Nortex. And I'm talking here the area and Piedras Negras and stuff like that. And so I know you've sang locally for a while and with your brother. And then all of a sudden I hear a song, and I ask who's that, and they tell me that it's you, Cari Cari. And of course, this song that you recorded started to chart everywhere. We had you on our podcast on Today's Tejano segment, and it's a song written by Johnny D. Johnny D. And of course, the name of the song is Todo Este Cariño. Went to number 1 on several charts, and it charted well. And I want to say something that I hope people don't get offended, but because you know me, I like to stir the pot only on my podcast. Hey, it kind of rhymes. Stir the pot on the podcast. Okay, but so the Tejano Music Awards are coming out, and this song wasn't nominated. And in the TTMA's defense, a little bit of disclaimer that they put there is that they do not nominate songs, and I have always had a problem with that because there's a lot of talent out there that they don't know the procedure, the protocol, they don't know the prerequisites. So much talent you can have. I think these days you have more Tejano sounding bands coming out of Michigan and Colorado sometimes than even Texas. Here in Texas, they've been going a lot to the hybrid sound, is what I call it. This is my world. This is our podcast, but it's like a hybrid to me, right? But so your song, Todo Este Cariño, charts just about everywhere, and it doesn't get nominated for the TTMA. Now, I want to tell you that I have been in those shoes, right? And you kind of feel like left out, but believe me, people love your voice, your song. Todo Este Cariño hit everywhere, and I want to congratulate you for all that success. Now,
yes, thank you.
and the TTMA, my beef with them is that I want them to have a sort of like a Tejano committee from that TTMA association, where those 15 people could, overlook a lot of things. I wish I could say something more than just grow a pair or something like that, but because there's a lot of bands that aren't being recognized, and that's just my little two-take. 39 years in the business, but congratulations on all the success that Todo Este Cariño. I want to ask you something, because the other day we were in the office and I heard you say something to Johnny D. That you were a little girl and you had heard that song that he had written. I want to hear a little bit of the story, how you heard it, and because that song, then Johnny had it in the vault somewhere for a long, long time, yet you remembered, right?
Sí.
Tell us the story a little
Sí.
bit.
Well, I did mention a little bit of Grupo Promesa right now, right? So, Grupo Promesa, as soon as we started that, and lo empecé a los 15 años, joining my brother. There I go, tagging along. And right away, we started a project of trying to get in the studio and doing some songs. And Johnny was not here in Eagle Pass at the time, right? He was serving our country with the Marines.
The Marines.
That's
Hoorah,
right.
hoorah.
Thank you for your service, Johnny. Proud of you always. Pero
I thought you were going to say he was in prison or something. I don't remember Johnny D being in prison.
Pero ¿cómo?
Pues he was married.
A ver,
Maybe that was the prison he was. Okay, we won't go there. That's another segment for another day.
Bueno, y en ese tiempo, pues, he also took upon the getting to writing and creating some music, and that was one of the ones that he had sent over and shared with my brother. And we did a track with that one. We recorded it, put it on a demo, and it's just one of those songs that it was always my go-to. En los momentos que estoy limpiando en la casa o lo que sea, that was always the one que me la pasaba cante cante.
It's amazing because you remembered that long ago, and when you decide to record something, you remember Johnny's song, and I truly believe that it really does come out. You can show and hear it when you hear the recording, because I think you loved it since day one, and it shows on the work. So Todo Este Cariño, Johnny D. You have any more songs in the vault, John, that you're holding back on, or because now Kari and me are in line, and we'll talk about that in a minute. How I think
scissors.
I think I made a move on Johnny's songs for the new CD, and we left Kari out of it. But well, Todo Este Cariño had so much success, and we want to congratulate you on that. I know that we have a mutual friend, Eddie Jimenez, the Crazy Pimps. They're homeboys here in Eagle Pass, Texas, and I always tell everybody that pound for pound, here in Eagle Pass, we have so much talent, and
definitely,
and I have always tried to represent Eagle Pass. When everywhere I go, the first thing they're gonna say is from Eagle Pass, Texas, and then they'll say my name. I don't say anything else. I say that I'm from Eagle Pass, and I admire those bands, and Eddie Jimenez always representing Eagle Pass. So are you, and so I knew that you were going to do a collaboration with them, and I think Eddie named it Puro Aguilón Live, and so what Eddie was trying to do is get local talent and redo some of the songs or some songs together. And then I got invited on it. So I know we saw each other the night that we were videoing it.
It was like the coldest night of the whole year.
It was. It was like a January or something, wasn't it? Was it January? I remember it was really cold. But now on that CD, on that collaboration, you did a song, Oye Mi Amor. How did you come to pick Oye Mi Amor?
Ese fue Eddie.
That was Eddie.
Pero let me
that
tell you a
Eddie.
little. All along, I thought I was just doing like a backup, and he was the one taking over. Until shortly right before the filming and the actual recording day, I said, "Oh, it's Eddie, but it's you, right? You're the one taking." No, Cari, it's you. I wasn't ready for that. Okay. So I got to changing some words there to make it sound from a female version.
Well, it came out really good. Congratulations. A big shout out. The Crazy Pimps. Pimp Mayor, Eddie Jimenez.
Eddie?
Dear friends of ours, you know, and I did Pedacito de Mi Amor. I was saying that it was the first cumbia I ever wrote, and you can tell it was the first cumbia I ever wrote, Pedacito de Mi Amor. But big shout out to the Crazy Pimps and their Puro Aguilón live. And Cari, I know you're looking at material and stuff like that. You're trying to finish a CD.
That's right.
You want to tell us a little bit about that? Because we'll unveil our stuff in a minute. But any plans to be in the studio soon?
Yes, absolutely. That's the goal. The goal of finishing my first album, Si Dios quiere. That is my focus, and something that I've been wanting to finish for many years, and I feel it's just like an unfinished project that I don't want to let go of. Every song choice that I've done so far is something that is very near and dear to me. I have a strong connection with every one of them. So for one reason, that's how I'm going about and making my selection. So,
well, we're sure that you're going to finish soon and continue to be successful with that. I think now with our audience, we're going to have to reveal something that I was blessed, and it's I guess as an older gentleman, older Gary, OG, but as an OG, to be invited by you and Joe, of course, to participate and collaborate with you was something that I took to heart. I enjoyed the idea. Yeah. So to our audience, hanging with Gary and all those Tejano music family and friends that we have out there, I always remind everybody that our social sites, we're up like 100,000 something, and I always tell everybody they're all not our friends. There's some haters out there. But I'll tell you what, we're so proud to announce that we've collaborated on a song, and that song was written by the late Charlie Castillon, and so this was months ago at the start of the year where we actually collaborated, and I guess because of many reasons, scheduling and stuff, but I'd like to let you explain it, because it's really your single, and I'm collaborating on it, but I'd like you to let everybody in on it.
all right. So this song is titled "Qué lástima."
Yes.
And igual, un gran honor, right, that you accepted and joined in on this collaboration, Gary. Muchísimas
Thank
gracias.
you, Cari.
And eso, pues, with this, the album y todo eso, with the way todo este cariño was going, con mi hermano y yo, pues, discussing, pues, what's next. Y esta es otra canción que tengo aquí en mi corazón.
Yes.
Por la misma razón, for the same reason, ¿verdad? All of them have something personal to them, but this one, mi primo querido, que en paz descanse, no hay ningún momento que hago algo de música que no me acuerdo de él,
Sure.
right? He's always there with us. Y all throughout this project, I felt nothing but beautiful vibes throughout it, and I always think que es él y dándome su bendición, and so just looking forward to it, and all through also working in the studio with Gabriel Zavala.
Yes.
Y pues claro que I've also shared all of this history that we have with this song as well. So I would just keep telling him, like, God, I just, it just means so much to me. It just means so much. And when we finally got the final, the finished product, right? I was like, this, yes.
I'm gonna interject something, but because I know exactly how you feel when we talk about Carlos Castillon. I mean, he worked with us, and when Charlie passed away, somebody dear to him came and told me that he loved you like a dad, and a lot of times it did feel like that. And so when I had to discipline something, it kind of makes you think, you don't. It's teaching the business. It's not like a hand slap. It's teaching the business. But there wasn't very much to teach Charlie. He caught on in a flash, and he had so much talent. And I've said this story. I think I've told it to Johnny D too. That when I think of Charlie, I could easily say "Por favor, corazón" and "Corazón ardiente" and "Mírame a mí," but I always remember "Qué lástima" and "Poco a poco." And so those are songs that are dear to me. So when I think the time was right after when he passed away, I think all of his friends recorded "Poco a Poco" or something, right? And I thought it was a great little tribute to him, and maybe we should all do even more tributes for him. But you selecting "Que Lástima" and I'll tell the audience that Gabriel Zavala produced it, and he did a wonderful job. Somewhere in between that, we were kind of trying to do the transition and configuring things, and so I voiced my opinions on stuff, but since we recorded earlier in the year, January, February, something like that, it was right after the cold, I remember. But when I heard the end product, I was glad I was sitting down. My wife was next to me, and we were traveling, and I told her, I want you to hear something, because of course she knew about the project, but we didn't know the date that it was going to be mixed and stuff like that, mastered and stuff. But when she heard it, she just turned around, and my wife has heard me for 40 years, right? But she said, that's great. And she loved it, and so I loved it, and I'm looking forward to people to support it. It's Que Lástima, Cari Carina, featuring Gary Hobbs. Now, tell us a little bit. Of course, this is your project, so when do you anticipate the release date? Is that a gang sign or
September 2nd, no?
September 2nd. Pues it's all based on the art.
Oh, pues tonight you'll get it.
We are going to, as soon as we go to video, you're going to look at all these faces that Johnny D and I do. But I think Johnny's trying to say that the artwork is almost finished, and we're looking at September 2nd or something, give or take.
September 2nd, release
Which is
date.
just another couple of days.
Ya merito, ahí viene.
By the time this goes into the air and stuff like that, now we are on GaryHobbs.com, but we are also going to YouTube audio, and very soon, we've been saying this for a year, since season 1. I won't say it again. But Que Lástima, we hope that you support it, of course, listen to it, and I know you're gonna love the rendition that we did. You did a great job, Cari. Really great job.
You too, Gary.
Really
Thank
great
you.
job.
Muchas gracias.
And Que Lástima. Once again, this is Cari Carina featuring Gary Hobbs. Her new single. Our new single. This is Que Lástima, and we hope you enjoy it. You're gonna love it.
Thank you. que dices tú, que yo no supe darte todo lo que tú querías. Eso dices tú, es lo que dices tú. Piénsalo, cuando en verdad se ama hay que dar sin recibir. Se entrega totalmente cuerpo y alma sin condición. Ese fue tu error. Tú no piensas así. Qué lástima que yo no fui el amor perfecto, aquel que tú querías. La vida a través del tiempo me ha enseñado a amar sin condición. Y aunque te vas, mi corazón te sigue amando. Qué lástima que yo no fui el amor perfecto, aquel que tú querías. La vida a través del tiempo me ha enseñado a amar sin condición. Y aunque te vas, mi corazón te sigue amando. Siento que lo nuestro se acabó, pero siempre tendrás mi corazón. Aún hay dos versiones de cada historia. Ahora quiero saber qué es lo que piensas tú.
Dices tú que yo no supe amarte, eso es lo que dices tú. Que yo no supe darte todo lo que tú querías. Eso dices tú, es lo que dices tú. Piénsalo, cuando en verdad se ama hay que dar sin recibir. Se entrega totalmente cuerpo y alma sin condición. Ese fue tu error. Tú no piensas así. Qué lástima que yo no fui el amor perfecto, aquel que tú querías. La vida a través del tiempo me ha enseñado a amar sin condición. Y aunque te vas, mi corazón te sigue amando. Qué lástima que yo no fui el amor perfecto, aquel que tú querías. La vida a través del tiempo me ha enseñado a amar sin condición. Y aunque te vas, mi corazón te sigue amando.
Well, that's Cari Carina featuring Gary Hobbs. Her newest single, Que Lástima. Beautiful. Great job, Gabriel Zavala. Great stuff. Great stuff. Well, that's our Today's Tejano segment. Again, our guest, our first guest ever, is Cari Carina. And before I let Cari say goodbye, y'all heard Que Lástima first here on Hanging with Gary. Johnny D. Little D, he's here. He's here. But, Cari, congratulations on all your success. Todo este cariño and Que Lástima and any few last words?
Claro, yes. Agradecerle a todos por el apoyo. Thank you all so much for the support. The success that todo este cariño had really just was a nice, a very nice surprise. Beautiful feeling. Muchas gracias, to allow me to experience something like that. And now be on the lookout. We have Todo Este Cariño very soon available. And as I mentioned, my goal with the album coming up soon. So be on the lookout for that as well.
And for sure, we're gonna have to do something about, if at all possible, with everybody's schedule. I would love to have you on the road with us, a couple of gigs and stuff like that, because I know our audience is gonna love you, Cari. They're gonna love you. They obviously are supporting Todo Este Cariño, and they're gonna get to hear, like they just heard, Que Lástima more and more on the radio. And continued success, Cari. homegirl, Eagle Pass, Texas.
Eso.
Y'all give it up for Cari Carina. This is today's Tejano segment, Hanging with Gary. We'll be right back. And we're back, Johnny D, Little D. Yours truly, Gary Hobbs, Hanging with Gary. Man, season 3, episode 1. We're back, Johnny D, Little D. Hey, you know, so we broke ice first time an interview. We had the lovely Karina. Again, continued success, Cari. We're so proud of her, homegirl. I tell you, pound for pound. And there's so much other talent here. Jessica Sanchez. And we can get Jessica Sanchez to come in here because not only are we related, but she is one awesome singer. Jessica's an awesome singer. But, so we had one guest. I want to bring Little D to the mic. We never let him talk, John. Little D.
How you doing?
How's it going, Jay? Well, Little D, ladies and gentlemen, he's got his own podcast, Thin Blue Smoke, the podcast.
That's right.
D, man, tell us a little bit about your podcast.
All right. So what it is, during COVID.
Well, that's enough, D. Now, not.
That'll work. All right. I'm out of here.
No, we just wanted to break guys.
I'm gone.
No.
So during COVID, I started a barbecue team.
There you go.
And from there, it evolved into the podcast. So the podcast revolves around barbecue and music because that's basically what I do. So, yeah, that's what it is.
It just mixes, right? Barbecue and music.
It's perfect.
Now, music, D. Music. When you present music, what kind of? Is it a little bit of everything or?
Well, at the time, right now, I'm trying to just keep it Tejano.
There you go.
Because, I was introduced to Tejano when I started working for you back in the late 90s.
There you go.
So
when I was younger?
So before that, I was all into the rock.
Corn.
Yeah, man.
I know.
Yeah.
I remember.
So, once I started working for you, I started knowing about all these bands and, the Tejano industry. And from there, it's been Tejano for me ever since.
There was a time, John, where we have so many people in the band, and we had a big road crew and stuff like that. And so Little D was just a teenager, but and I would forget his name. I go, but I know he listened to Corn, and it kind of like got around the band. Alele Corn, get Corn,
and it just stuck.
Yeah, and it's kind of stuck. But I never really called you Corn, but the band, everybody. Call Corn, ¿verdad? Pero pues I call him Little D.
Yeah,
¿verdad? Pero,
that's right.
But David Villanueva, he's got his own podcast, ladies and gentlemen, and more than welcome to stop by and listen in on Thin Blue Smoke, the podcast.
That's right, and you can find us on Instagram. We broadcast to Spotify, Google, and Apple.
Man, we're behind the times, Johnny D. But no, it's again, Little D is part of our crew here with Hanging with Gary, and it's nice to have you again on the new season, D.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Before we leave, ladies and gentlemen, once again, you're listening to Hanging with Gary. We are on GaryHobbs.com, and we are on YouTube. Hanging with Gary on YouTube, right? Once again, last weekend, Johnny and Little D, I was in Midland, Texas. There's a lot of oil out there, a lot of oil. I was at the Rusty Bucket. Man, wonderful people. Big shout out to Justin Paredes and all the wonderful people at the Rusty Bucket. They're in the Permian Basin in Midland, Odessa, and they just treated us royally, and want to thank everybody that went out there. Big shout out to Ruben, Rachel, Ramirez, dear friends of ours. They're cruisers, Tejano cruisers that go on the cruises with us. And a lot of people that showed up, we want to thank them. Saturday, we were in San Antonio, Texas. We were at the backyard at B&N, and that's on the south side of San Antonio. What a wonderful little place. And I want to big shout out, thank Zeke Martinez for bringing us in. I had a wonderful time in San Antonio. And it's they call it the backyard because there's a B&N. I think it's like a sports bar, stuff like that. In the back, they had a building. Zeke goes in there and guts it out and he turns it into a club. And so they call it the backyard at B&N. But it was such a great crowd. Very, very 100% Tejano music supporting. Big shout out San Antonio. Big shout out the backyard at B&N. I also did a podcast, a radio show. I'm sorry, a radio show with Michelle. Of course, Michelle is Michelle Garcia, Michelle Shell from Hacienda Records, and now it's Hacienda Hits Radio Show. She got Hacienda International, and I did a radio show with her, and it was really nice, reminiscing of my beginnings at Hacienda Records. She was so surprised when we started the interview that I told her, Hacienda Records, 1236 South Staples, 512-882-7066. I remembered the address and the phone number. Now, if you ask me my first phone number here, I probably don't remember. But see, I had started at Hacienda Records, and I hit it off instantly with Arnold Garcia, her brother. And he was our engineer, our producer. And so I was calling up the storm. But big shout out to Michelle, and she continues to promote Tejano music and much continued success. A little bit of our schedule coming up. Saturday, September 3rd, we are a private event in Pasadena, Texas, this Saturday. Sunday, September 4th, we are in Austin, Texas, Our Lady of Guadalupe Catholic Church, Jamaica. We're looking forward to that. We're going on about 8:30 to 10. So, linda gente in the Austin area, come join us. Tejano music, we're at the Jamaica, ladies and gentlemen. Friday, September 9th, we are back in Dallas, Texas, the New West. For such a long time, it was my home away from home. But we love the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. We love all areas. Johnny, we love anybody that pays us, Johnny. But that's Friday, September 9th. We are back in Dallas, Texas at the New West. Then that Saturday, September 10th, we are in Pasadena, Texas at Winters. Please come join us. Mikey Mike Promotions. Yours truly, Gary Hobbs, The Usual Suspects, Pasadena, Texas at Winters. Friday, September 16th, special day. We are back at the Kikapulaki Eagle Casino, ladies and gentlemen. We are inside the Que Pasa Lounge. That's Friday, September 16th. 16 de septiembre, Johnny. Does that mean I got to play a bunch of Mexican music? But we are looking forward to always being at the Kikapulaki Eagle Casino. We are at the Que Pasa Lounge. We're going to release it right now, Johnny, right now. Just because we're in the hots mode right now. Estamos de calientes with Season 3, Episode 1. But we are confirming that we are going to be at the Kikapulaki Eagle Casino, the Que Pasa Lounge, December 31st, New Year's Eve. I am looking forward so much to that. Why? Because last year they invited us, they hired us, and there was a little stipulation on the contract. They wanted a variety show, and we delivered. Well, you delivered, John. You delivered, but I tried to deliver. But that night, music from Kool and the Gang, Luis Miguel, Elvis, Tom Jones, Bruno Mars, Bobby Brown. That was last New Year's Eve, and we're doing it this New Year's Eve. If we're alive and well, con el favor de Dios, if Jesus don't come back, December 31st, New Year's Eve, we are at the Que Pasa Lounge inside the Kikapulaki Eagle Casino. Just so our audience knows, Little D, Johnny just tore it up with My Prerogative and Careless Whispers, and he did Luis Miguel and stuff like that. So you're going to be there with us, aren't you? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Well, and going back to our September schedule, Now on September 17th, on the Saturday, we are here in Eagle Pass for a private event. Dear friend of ours, Fito Barrera Jr., the All-American. We are celebrating his birthday. And big birthday bash, Fito Barrera Jr. Big shout out, brother. Friday, September 23rd, we are at the Backyard, Waco, Texas. It's a beautiful place. Great food, stuff like that, barbecue. Sort of like what you podcast, you know?
There we go.
It's barbecue and music and Tejano music. We're in the house. Friday, September 23rd at the Backyard, Waco, Texas. Then Friday, on September 24th, we are in Dallas, Texas for a private event. And we finish out the month, Friday, September 30th, Pleasanton, Texas. Pleasanton, Texas, The Office Bar and Grill. The Office Bar and Grill. We want to thank everybody for joining us again on Hanging with Gary. This is season 3, episode 1. We're kind of rusty, right, D? Johnny? We're forgetting dates. We're forgetting what to say. But we'll get back in a groove. But, of course, you can visit us on Facebook. You can visit us on Twitter. Visit us on Instagram, Gary Hobbs Official. And now Hanging with Gary on YouTube and on GaryHobbs.com. On behalf of Johnny D, Little D, yours truly, Gary Hobbs. This is Hanging with Gary. We'll see you next week. God bless. Welcome to Hanging with Gary.